Hello, YouTubers. This is Michelle again. I want to deal with the RH factor and just a reminder that this is a YouTube channel that is dedicated to those who learn by explaining information. So by no means do I have it mastered. You would have to do your due diligence and check what I'm saying, but I'm practicing sharing this information as if I had a client say, "What do you mean? What is the RH factor? Can you explain that to me?" And then I'm going to attempt to do that here. And I want to invite you to send your videos in. I can put them on my channel if you learn that way as well and you want to explain some kind of midwifery related topic. So the RH blood group, or we say RH factor, or the D antigen. These are some of the terms that we use to describe the situation with the RH blood group. So we talked earlier on the ABO incompatibility video. We were talking about antigens that are on the red blood cell. And we talked about the two antigens. Basically, it's A or B or AB. And then O has no antigens on it. So there are hundreds of antigens on red blood cells. But we just deal with the ones that are the most active or the ones that are most, concerning to us. So besides the AB group, blood type group, there's the RH blood type group. And there are probably quite a few in this. I believe there are 6 antigens in the RH group, the Rhesus, RHESUS group. Rhesus, RHESUS. We just say RH. That's easiest. So there's other antigens in that group. There's like C and D and E, and the D is the one that we're most concerned with. So if you're RH positive, then you have the D antigen on your red blood cell. If you're RH negative, you don't have it. So when you say, "Oh, what's your blood type?" we might say, "Oh, I'm A positive," or "I'm B negative." We're talking about, when we say the positive or the negative, we're talking about the RH group. So the reason why this is an issue is because if I'm an RH negative, that means I don't have the D antigen on my red blood cell. And I have a baby that's an RH positive, then there could be a problem there. If our blood for some reason mixes, then I can start to develop antibodies against the RH positive antigen, which my baby has. And so generally, let me back up. The body, when you're pregnant, the mother's blood and the baby's blood are separated. Anytime there's a disruption in the placenta, then the mother can be exposed to the fetal blood. And this usually can occur during labor and delivery. So when that process happens, and let's say the mother is exposed to now this foreign antigen, the D positive antigen, right? The D antigen, then the mother can form antibodies to that. And it takes about 3 weeks. So that first baby is okay. But now she has antibodies against the D antigen, and she has become synthesized. All right, and I just want to check my notes and just make sure I understand that. So now she's synthesized, and so the next time she has a baby that happens to be RH positive, then her antibodies can attack the baby's fetal cells, and you can get different problems. You can get where the baby becomes anemic because now these antibodies are destroying the red blood cells of that baby. So then the baby can become anemic. And then when the baby becomes anemic, then there's going to be difficulties with the heart and then the organs that involve producing or storing red blood cells are overworked. So you can have an enlarged liver, you have an enlarged liver. I believe there's another organ that can become spleen. Your spleen can become enlarged as well. You can have fluid accumulation. And they have different names for these types of problems, so you can look them up and see that. So what they do to try to help avoid that is they give Rogam, which is a brand for to help to stop that process. So the mother is tested, and they see that the mother is negative for the D antigen, and they don't know what the baby is in utero. So they offer at 28 weeks, they offer a product called Rogam. And I just want to look up and see what we call that, because I'm sure there are other. So it's an RH immune globulin. Okay, because there may be other brands that put that out. I will probably from this point on refer to Rogam because that's the only one that I know of that I've used working with preceptors and things. So they give that at 28 weeks because it lasts for about 3 months, so it can protect the mother through the third trimester and through birth. And then they give another shot of it after the birth within 72 hours to prevent the mother from producing those antibodies. So it's a blood product, and it contains the antibodies. So the antibodies cover the antigens in the baby's cell, and therefore the mother's immune system doesn't recognize it, so it doesn't attack the baby's blood cell. So that's how it works. I'm going to look in here and see if I can see of any other points that I can point out. Like I mentioned earlier, there's 100 antigens on the blood cell surface. These are molecules capable of producing immune response. The RH has 6 different ones, and it's C, D, E, and then those are in pairs. The one that's most common is the D, and if you have the D antigen, you're RH positive. If you don't have it, you're RH negative. If the mother is negative and the dad is negative, then the baby will be 100% negative. So a lot of times the mother will have the father checked, and then they don't have to deal the Rogam thing. If the mother is negative and the father is positive, then the baby could be negative or positive. Okay. So for RH incompatibility, it could lead to hemolytic disease of the newborn, abbreviated HDN. It's also called erythroblastosis fetalis. That's another name that you may see related to that problem. Rogam is offered anytime there's disruption in the placenta or a chance where the mother and the baby's blood might have mixed. So ectopic pregnancies, placenta abruption, abortions, transfusions, or any type of trauma that ruptured the placenta, Rogam would be offered to an RH negative mom. Couple of problems I mentioned that when this hemolytic disease of the newborn occurs, I just wanted to say also hydrops fetalis, and just think of hydro as water, so it's water accumulation in the fetus, and it can go in different places in the body and be a problem. Like I mentioned, you can have an enlarged spleen, an enlarged liver, and then you have jaundice within the first 24 hours. So a lot of times you'll hear that jaundice in the first 24 hours is not normal, but if you have this hemolytic disease, then where there's a breakdown of the red blood cell, then you can have jaundice, and the level can be so high that it can do irreversible damage to the brain, and that is kernicterus. That's the term for the brain damage due to jaundice. So that's some other information I want to share with you. I mentioned that the ROGAM, or the immune globulin, is 99% effective. There are very few known side effects. Again, it coats the fetal blood cells, so it prevents mom's immune system from recognizing the D antigen. Let's see if there's anything else. So one of the things I'll share is that there are people who say they don't want the ROGAM, and you may want to know why, and it's because it's a blood product. It comes from donated blood, donated pooled blood, okay? So it's not like from one source. It's derived from human plasma, donated pooled blood, and some people feel uncomfortable about that. And so you will get people that reject it. So I think that's about all I have to say on that. You can see that I'm growing and learning. It may not be as smooth as I would like it, but the information is out there, and you can benefit from what I shared. And you can also post one on the same topic, the RH factor, also called the RH blood group. You can also critique what I have said. I'm totally open for constructive criticism, and I wish you all the best in your midwifery studies.